what it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it would be. I'm here, Cam Newton to some, Mr. Boogie to all, with another episode of Funky Friday. And I'm here to give good content for the masses and always promise to get and keep it funky for your asses. Today, we have an unbelievable guest that needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway. Miss Santia Deck, the real life version of Icebox. You did. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You good?
I'm doing well.
Say less. So before we get into these controversial topics that we got on off camera, talk to me about what you got going on right now. I know you're writing a book. I know you're big in philanthropy, a charity that you're in, as well as the shoe creation. Talk to me about it.
So I made history by becoming the first female athlete to own her own shoe company, and my company name is Tronos. It happened during the pandemic. We launched June 19th, Juneteenth, and we've been kind of rolling ever since then. It's an athleisure shoe. A lot of athletes like it. A lot of everyday people like it. It literally feels like you're walking on air. And I tell everybody, once you put the shoe on, it sells itself. Because when you pick it up, first of all, when you see it, it's like, okay, it looks kind of heavy. But then you pick it up and it's like, what the hell? Like, this is super light. It contours to your foot, all of that stuff. So it's different. It's like the future of footwear, to be honest.
So with you going into this creation, obviously you're talking to a very fashionable person, and but I haven't created a shoe. Tell me about that. Take me through that whole process from mocks, the prototypes. What was that process like creating your own shoe? I think that's dope, by the way.
Thank you. So I had a unique introduction because I was a brand ambassador for another shoe company, and the designer was like, yo, you're selling the mess out of these shoes. Like, do you want like your own signature shoe? And I'm like a sneakerhead, so I was like, yeah, why not? And he said, well, what kind of shoe? What do you want it to look like? I said, I really want it to be like a Balenciaga high top mixed with a Jordan. So high fashion, and then, you can also work out in it. You can play ball in it, whatever you want to do. And so he mocked it up first time he got it. So I posted that mock on social media. It went crazy. It went viral on LinkedIn. And then he was like, yo, no, my mom came in, who's also my manager, and she's the COO. And she was like, let's just do a shoe company. And that designer actually ended up being my designer. He knew everybody in the industry. So he worked for like the bigger companies like Nike's and Adidas. So he took us step by step on how to create it. So we had somebody kind of holding our hand through the whole process. But he knew everybody in China. Like, he knew who to go to. He knew the best in the industry. He made sure that we had the right material, something that was different, something that was gonna be durable but also flexible, so that you're not sitting there with a tight shoe or whatever. So he made sure everything was on point. He took us through the legal work, everything. So we had somebody that knew what he was doing, but he believed in me enough as an influencer and as an athlete to do my own thing. And so he's now on my team. So it's been a journey. It's not easy. Like, everybody thinks you just go and you just put your logo on the shoe or something that's already made, but we got people hand stitching our designs, and it's different.
So say the name one more time.
Tronos.
Tronos.
Yes.
So listen, this is a paid advertisement from Tronos. It's yours truly, Mr. Boogie. And get your ass out there, get your ass online, and get your ass some Tronos. Now, the creator or the originator of these shoes is a double minority. Not only is she an African American, she is a strong, empowered female. So, as we can see right now,
You brought you your own pair.
yeah.
And we know you like to be loud, so we have to get you the loudest
How
pair we
did you
got.
guess?
You know what? I just took a wild guess.
Yeah.
There you go, size 14.
Ooh.
Now, how does it feel in your hand?
It is light though.
I'm trying to tell you.
I ain't gonna flex.
And when you put
And
it
it
on, it's
has
gonna
the
be different.
durability.
It does.
It has the durability to kind of when you talking about trainer and cross or performance shoes. As a guy like myself, wearing low cut shoes, you run the risk of turning your ankle or something like that. But it has a solid kind of foot mold that I appreciate and I like. And thank you for thinking about the little people like me. You know what I'm saying? It's dope as hell though, man. So where is this manufactured?
So it's in China. In China.
So throughout that whole process, did you get a chance to go to China, or were you just domestic, with this whole creative process?
Nah, we were supposed to, but the pandemic hit, so we had to just trust our designer.
Right.
And he honestly, he knew what he was doing because we got the best in the game. His name is Jamie in sales, by the way.
Say less, Jamie. You know, let's speak on something. Obviously, who you are and what you represent is important. You know what I'm saying? As we're approaching, or we are in Women's History Month, and I just want you to kind of think back and really verbalize, what do you represent?
I feel like I represent the true meaning of breaking through glass ceilings because I've been able to do something in two very male dominated industries that um honestly I'm the first to do it. So, from the football stuff, being offered the highest paid contract, to having my own shoe. And at first, like, it was like, okay, this is cool. Like, this is great for my legacy, for my future children, for my family. But then I started getting like DMs and, I started doing more interviews and I noticed like how much I was really like motivating these other women on the other side to like chase their dreams. I was like, wow, this isn't even about me. It's bigger than me.
Right.
So for me, it's about opening up the door for the next generation of girls that just want to dare to be better, dare to be great. Right. Because sometimes we're taught as women to just be dainty and just be quiet and just do what you can and just be, invisible sometimes. But I was like, no, like I can still be super feminine, but I want to go out here and do like the most, to be honest. I want to go out here and leave a legacy. I want to go out here and create generational wealth, teach other people how to do the same, and just motivate women to be the best version of themselves.
I could dig that, pound to that. But, when you say football player, right? At what age did you realize, like, you know what, I don't want this just to be a hobby of mine? What's your earliest remembrance of you playing football?
So my story is actually unique. Like, I'm gonna be honest. People think that I like just was like a kid and I went to football, but I was a track runner. Like track was my life. I ran track from 7 to 23, and I'm 30 now. But I grew up with three brothers. They all played football. They all running backs. I was a super tomboy. So every single thing that my twin brother did, I did. So when he went to football camp,
Twin?
yeah, I got a twin brother. Twin brother.
Well, my dumb ass about to say an identical twin, but
No,
that's what I said. I was about to say. About to say.
We don't look alike, y'all, okay? When we was little, maybe a little bit, but we don't look alike. Anyways, but so when he went to football camp, he went to like trainings and different things like that, I went. And like my mom made sure like, nah, like she gonna do what he doing because she wanna do it. So there's no limitation on that. And so I actually got the chance to play like Pee Wee football for one day.
What?
I got hit in my chest, and my mom said, "Nope." That's it. So that was my earliest, like, I think, as far as me remembering like me trying to actually play. But after that, it was track. And then I graduated. I got a scholarship to Texas A&M Kingsville for track. Ran for 4 years. Then I graduated, and I was like, dang, like what's next for me? Like I want to keep being an athlete because I wasn't going nowhere in track because I was too injury prone. And so I saw a flag football sign one day, and I went to a practice, and that was it.
Was this flag football sign for
For a flag?
I don't want to be sexist or degrading. Was it powder puff?
No, it was just regular flag.
So
like
it's
flag.
men.
No,
men.
women.
Women
only for
only.
women. Yeah,
Okay.
women only. Yeah, I don't do flag with men.
Right.
But so I went there. The first practice, he was like, "Yo, how long you been playing football?" And I was like, "Never." And he was like, "Oh, you're something special." And so from there, like I ended up going viral several times, and it took me into like literally being recruited from the USA rugby team.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a tryout for the team because they saw me on social media. Then I got, into tackle football where I got offered the contract, and now I'm back in tackle football.
Yeah.
So it took me a lot of places.
So good for the people who are not educated in this type of platform. When you talk about football for females, right? And shout out to you for being the highest paid, woman doing it. But at the same time, what's the typical woman that you come across in this type of industry?
As far as like her personality?
Personality, does moms do it?
Oh, everybody, to be honest. It's very interesting because we have women as young as like 18, but as old as like 50, like playing with us.
Right.
And their moms, they're doctors, some of them are lawyers, some of them are teachers. It's a combination of everybody, but they all have the same passion, which is really dope. There's some girls I've been playing 12 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, I didn't even know that it's been around that long, but they really, really love the game, and we don't get paid. That's the thing.
You don't get paid because of what?
Because we're women. First of all, we don't get the, promotion. We don't get like the viewership. We don't get the sponsorships and endorsement deals. We don't have enough people that have a big enough name to say, hey, y'all come watch the game. Y'all come support these women. To be honest, if I'm being real, I feel like there's not enough women that support women in football either. Because y'all are always gonna support each other. The men are always gonna be at basketball games, football games, baseball. But I do feel like it starts with us. So we need to come out more and support each other. Even with the WNBA, same thing. But let's be honest.
Right.
We live
Keep it
in
funky. Keep
we
it
live
funky.
in a man's world. So if y'all
Watch out now. Hold on.
but hold on,
now.
hold on, let
Okay.
me
Okay.
but also we still run the world though. But anyways, if more people like you came to one of the games and was like, hey, like y'all come support Atlanta Phoenix, the WNFC, y'all come support LFL, whatever it may be, there's gonna be more people that come because y'all just have a bigger voice.
Right.
So I feel like we need to be backed by more NFL players, by more people in higher places. And we just need a chance. Like we need a chance to showcase our skills because it's a lot of dope women.
Right.
It's some women, I swear, if they was men, they would be in the league.
What?
I promise you. So it's like it's very entertaining if you actually give it a chance. And I feel
They
like people
had-
have this like they already feel like, oh, this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be slow.
Right.
It's gonna be bad tackling. It's gonna be this. But I'm like, nah, there's some people out there really like breaking ankles,
Yeah.
really Julio Jones and people. Like it's
Nah.
crazy. Like
But even to that point, the only female league that I feel got off the ground
say,
was the Lingerie League. And I don't know if that was kind of the best example of, female rights to have the same access to the sport of football. But if you were the commissioner, if you were an ambassador for this sport, what would you change? How could you get it off the ground, or what would you do differently than it's already been done?
Man, I'll do so much, to be honest. Like, first of all, I would make sure that we had the right uniforms, we had the right coaching, we had the right resources so that women can actually train full time to be the best version of themselves, not where they're trying to split time between being a mom and being this and being that, and then having to somehow make practice for free.
Right.
So, that would help a lot too. But I would also make sure that we had people that were popular, that were either they owned a team, they were running a team, they were coaching or whatever, like get some old NFL coaches or whatever, NFL players. Like I would make sure that we also use the power of influence because that's just what it is. And unfortunately, no offense to anybody that played in LFL, do your thing. But to me, that messed us up because every time I say play football, they're like, oh, LFL? And I'm like, no, like I actually have clothes on. Oh, so how's that? Like, it's like, let me ask you this. Would you come and watch women in full pass play versus LFL?
I would. Because at the end of the day, we live in a time where the networks are always looking for entertainment in many different ways, right? I think it's very entertaining for me to be playing a sport for so long and then to see it played in a different demographic, right? It's almost like music. Hip hop in so many different ways has taken on a life of its own with different strands of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So why couldn't you have a different strand of football? You feel me? So, for me, I'm pro women's rights to the degree and not just being, a person on camera that's just talking about it. I would love to see how I can bring some type of relevance to it, because one thing I do believe in is following your dreams and following your passion. You feel me? If you feel like, what I won't sign off for is a woman being in the NFL, because it's and you're going against J.J. Watts.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think it'd be entertaining enough to see like-minded women compete at a high level and do something that's not always ass, not always titties, not always, just not necessarily degrading women, but only seeing women in their own
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
And I think that's another hurdle because we're not half naked. It is harder to get people to want to come watch.
Mhm.
And again, people, the first thing is like, okay, I get to see your ass and your titties, so I'm gonna come to this game.
Right.
So it's like, but
in that league, and I'm just keeping it funky, you're selling sex first.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're selling football.
But they don't even get to see the athleticism because they there for one thing. Like, so I'm gonna say this. I played like 3 months in that league because I didn't know what it was. I remember going to a game and you know what? I'm not even gonna talk about this league.
No.
I feel like I got friends in the league, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's
we
cut that out.
there. Let's keep it funky. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
I don't want no beef. I don't want no beef. People
You
arguing.
don't gotta say no names, but what you do have to do, you're a voice box for so many people that won't be able to speak, right? So I would love for you to tell me and the people about the issues and the things that the disparities of how you feel it can be better, because all I'm trying to do is use this platform as a way to educate and empower people. And I have been guilty by being pigeonholed into this area where it's like, okay, you're a football player, Cam. We don't care nothing about your fashion. We don't care nothing about, your family. We don't care nothing about, the passions that you have outside of the game. We just care about you winning football games. And I'm like, that's only less than half of who I am as a person. You see what I'm saying? So that's the genesis behind Funky Friday. So I would be remiss if you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Or I feel a certain type of way if you bite your tongue, Santia Deck. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay.
When you got to keep it funky.
Facts. It is Funky Friday. Okay, so I know the LFL has, I think it's the X League now. So it's changed. So I think now they have sports bra and I think shorts now, which is good. But this is back in the day when I was playing. I remember going to a game and all the girls that were gonna play that night had to sit down, like literally just sit like shoulder to shoulder pretty much. And the owner would come and like pretty much examine you and be like, you're too fat, you're not playing. You gain weight, I don't like your makeup, your hair color, nope, you're not. And literally they couldn't play.
What?
Dead ass couldn't play. And then also I remember standing on the sideline and just hearing men just saying, show us your tits, show us this, show us that. And I'm like, yo, I did not sign up for this.
Yeah.
And that's was my first like introduction to tackle football. And then I just didn't play. And then I got, introduced to this new stuff, which is fully padded or whatever. But I just want, if I could change women's sports, I just want people to not look at us in such a sexual way all the time, because we're so much more than that.
Like a piece of meat.
Yeah, like, we're beautiful, and yes, we have nice bodies, but we work just as hard as these men to get to where we are, to go pro, to go to college or whatever. And it's like, we just want to be respected, and we do want to be equal to y'all when it comes to the opportunities and the exposure and the payment and things like that. And I feel like, and I don't know why, but I don't know why the NFL has never backed like a tackle league.
But why would you think so?
I think because they don't accept it yet. Like, I know they're trying with flag, but I feel like it's still a big deal, and they're still like, I just can't, like, I can't grasp women playing tackle. And that's kind of what I feel. Right. But I feel like, wouldn't it make sense, because now you will have more women in attendance, so you will sell more tickets, you will sell more gear, you will sell more, fan gear or whatever. So it's like, if they just combined it, just like the other leagues, the NBA, just like that, like it would make sense.
NBA and the G leagues, and
like there's WNBA,
overseas.
Like there's women versions of everything. So why not football?
Right.
And not just flag? Because unfortunately, like, as much as I love flag, I don't think it's ever gonna be as big as,
Do you think there's something missing with the equal rights to women in sports?
Of course.
In what way though?
I feel like we don't get the opportunity to actually grow as much as we can because I mean honestly we need help from our male like counterparts.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes we're looked at as like not a joke, but it's kind of like, well, let's just kind of throw this on the back burner and come back to it, and they never do. So for me, it's like we need more of that. We need more women in higher positions, which is happening slowly. There's coaches now, there are refs now, but we need more people supporting us and pouring into us and just trying to help us expand and grow because we can't do it alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we just need help from you guys, to be honest.
I can dig it. To kind of switch gears real quick, you know, as you was coming here, I was seeing it. I was trying to give you your prognosis of which leg it was, but take me through the ACL.
Oh man. So I was at practice,
Football practice.
football practice. And it had rained the day before. We were on a like grass field for whatever reason, which yeah, I don't know why. But I was coming out the backfield to do a pitch play, ended up slipping. My leg went backwards and then my teammates fell on top of me, so it went to the side.
No way.
Yeah. So it ended up being a partial ACL tear and a strained MCL, but it has been definitely one of the hardest things probably I've ever went through, like mentally.
Right. And this happened how long ago?
It was January 22nd.
Wow. Oh, this new. No ATL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, I've always not necessarily been fascinated, but just it was always a scratch my head moment when, you know, you see women, and that was a contact injury. Most women, or some women even, have, just like men, have, you know, non-contact injuries in their leg, and I'm like, well, how? You know what I mean? Because we all are built different anatomically.
Of course, yeah.
If that's the word, anatomically, right? But yet through it all, you know, do you need surgery?
I don't. So let me tell you this. The first doctor that I seen, I ain't gonna put him on blast. He literally just like looked at my leg, touched it on the side, and was like, you need a X-ray, you need an MRI. And he said, I'm pretty sure it's a complete tear, ACL and MCL tear. And I was like, how do you know? And he's like, oh, I just know. And so and he left, and that was it. So
This was the prognosis at practice, or this is somebody you went to?
this is somebody I went to. Yeah. So I went to him, and then we had a follow-up where he actually looked at the MRI, but he didn't even show me. And he was like, as I'm sure you know, it's a very bad injury. You're definitely gonna need surgery if you ever want to compete again. And you have a full ACL tear and you have a partial MCL tear. So I was like, that was it. And he just kind of got off. He didn't care at all. And I ended up going to a second doctor. He was like, what is he even talking about? Like, you have a partial ACL tear and it's a super partial, and you have a strained MCL. And so I ended up doing PT, which is what I'm doing now. And now I'm like probably 60% ready to go.
Right.
So
with that, the league that you play in, is it funded, or do they have, you know, the proper, you know, trainers?
I'm gonna just say no.
Right.
Whatever you about to ask me, no.
So when you're playing in this league, what do you get then? You know what I'm saying? Like when you say
To play.
that's it.
Yeah.
But you're the highest paid for something on a normalcy, which is how many people are on your team?
We have about, I think, 77 people.
77. But all of them get paid too?
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I know you're confused.
Come on, we here for it.
And again, I ain't gonna go into detail. But so I was in this league called WFLA, which was where I was deemed the highest paid, because that's what I was offered at that time. We're supposed to play in 2020. Obviously, the pandemic happened, and then things just kept happening where we couldn't play. And long story short, the owner of the league didn't do what she was supposed to do, I guess. I don't know all the details. I'm just a player, y'all, so yeah. But she wasn't doing what she needed to do for us to build the league. And
A woman.
A woman. She was a woman. And it got shut down. So that would have been the first time ever that women got paid to play football. So now I'm in the WNFC, which is a non-pay league, but they're trying to get it to a point to where we can be paid.
I could dig it. So they're probably in a position where advertisement
Everything.
or something like that.
Advertisement, getting on, getting an opportunity to be on like an actual like TV channel or something like that, But it's exposure. Yeah. Because people don't know about it.
So going back to, the things that you were talking about earlier, tell me about charity.
So I'm on Friday, this Friday, this Friday, the 25th, I believe. I'm gonna be doing a auction for this school called Odessa School of Fashion. So we're gonna be raising funds to kind of help with those students to kind of continue to chase their dreams. And I'm gonna be actually we sent like I think 200 pairs of my all white sneakers.
What?
Yeah, to them. So they all painted the shoes and these crazy cool designs. So we're gonna be auctioning off those shoes and just helping them to raise funds to keep the school open. So I'm super excited about that.
And then, you also are an author, right? Writing your book, right? So tell me about some of the things that if I'm a reader and I read the book, what can I expect in the book?
So this is actually my second book. And this is literally about my life and my journey. I think people will be surprised about how I got to where I've gotten because I think people just see social media. It's like, oh my gosh, it looks so great. It looks so easy. People will kind of be surprised at my journey because it was very different, very unique. The way that I was brought up, the way that I was raised, the obstacles that I went through at an early age. And I think people too, like a lot of people think I've been a super athlete all my life, but little do people know, like I was always injured, so I never reached like my full potential when I was younger. So I was always fighting to like get to a place where I can, win and I can, go to nationals and I can go to state. And I was always having obstacles. So I think people would just be surprised at like, how I got here.
I can dig it. Please make sure you check that out. I want to go to something. I want to give you a real life current event that's happening and that's happening right now. And to your point about being an activist for women's rights, standing on, the foundation of being strong, sexy women, and not devaluing your morals. Brittany Griner, right? She was locked up, for lack of a better term, in Russia, I believe. And she's still locked up. Do you think if a man, a well-known male athlete was in the same situation, what would happen?
He would have been out the next 10 minutes, for sure.
Right. So what's happening? So it's not just like it's a United States thing. It's a world thing that, we gotta talk about it. We gotta face the facts. You feel me? So, I think we owe a due diligence to not only Brittany, but all women to have answers for that because it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you believe in something that's so strong. And once that happens, when I read about it, I was like, it's fucked up.
No, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, here Brittany is, got incarcerated for, I think, just cannabis oil.
Yeah.
You feel me? Let that would have been LeBron. Let that would have been Steph. Let that would have been Russell Wilson. Let that would have been Tom Brady. Let that would have been, anybody else. We ain't even having this conversation.
No, for sure. And to be honest, it's literally what I just said. It's about allowing enough opportunity for women here to be able to survive and do what they love. Because if she was getting paid the same amount she was getting paid in America that she is there, she would have never been over there. But she's, I think, getting paid $1 million there, and I think she was making maybe $220 here. So it's like the value, and she's like one of the best players ever. So it's like, why is there not more happening for these women that are literally putting their life on the line, literally, to play this game and to entertain all these people and to bring money to this sport, but they have to go overseas to even be paid to survive and take care of their families? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. So it's like, where is the equality? When is somebody going to step in and say, hey, the LeBrons and the Steph Currys are, they are kind of overshadowing all these other women that are doing great things. So maybe we should start trying to do something different. We should start supporting more. We should start, pumping up their salary so that they don't have to go overseas and, leave their families and be stressed and all these different things like that. Because if it was different, her situation would be different. But is she still sitting in jail?
Yes.
That's one of the best female players to ever do it is still in jail.
I think she got incarcerated or locked up on March 5th, and she's still over there. But what I will say this, now, when you're talking about importance of, where we are as a society or whatnot, we need people like LeBron. We need people like Steph. We need people who are very influential or well known in their craft and their sport. That's only half the battle. So I'm not saying change what they're doing, but at the same time, let's really give the flowers or the attention to other people who are really just as good in their respective sports, and it's entertaining. You see what I'm saying? So I think it needs to be discussed. Right. I'm a father to two beautiful daughters, Shakira and Sovereign Dior, and I'll be shameful if I didn't tell them that they could be anything that they want to be. And my girls are girly girls, but at the same time, I got two girls with 5 boys, 7 kids in total. But at the same time, there are signs where it's like, they show tomboyish tendencies. But if they were to say, what, Dad, I want to play football, who am I to tell them like, nah, Kuda, what I'm saying, nah, Kiri, you can't play football.
So you let them play tackle?
Man, I'll let my children do whatever what's on their heart.
Okay.
Now, going your happy ass out there, and tackle football with boys, no.
That's different.
Girls, yes. If the playing field is even, I'm all for it.
Let me clear this up too, since you said that. When I went viral, and even to this day, for the contract and playing football, everybody thought I was trying to play in the NFL. I am not and will never ever want to play, try to play, none of that in the NFL because I understand I'm 5'1", 145 pounds on a good day, and I will literally die because I'm a running back. So for those of you who still in their heads feel like, oh, this girl was just trying to be like a man and trying to do this and blah, blah, blah. No, I play with women. I represent women, and I only want to be around women. So let me just make that clear.
So for that analogy alone, the NFL draft is right around the corner. And for people who may not have seen you play, how would you describe your playing style with the individuals that's actually in the NFL?
Okay, so my favorite player is Barry Sanders.
What?
So literally, I was obsessed with him, like when I first started playing. So people always call me Baby Barry Sanders. So that's who I look up to. Like, I do love Alvin Kamara. I do love Saquon as well. But I'm shifty. I'm quick. I like to cut. I like to be fancy or whatever. So I would say Barry Sanders.
Say less. I like it. I can dig it. Now, let's change this topic too. Like, when you're playing in a sport that's very strong and masculine, how do you find the opportunity of what type of man do you attract? I mean, you are a strong individual out here in a world full of hyenas. You dig what I'm saying? Does it help that you play football, or does it hurt when you're dating?
I would say sometimes both. I think a lot of men are like honestly just kind of flabbergasted, and they are like just in awe of the fact that I do play this sport because most men are football fans. So it's like I can go and play football with you, I can go watch the game with you, but then we can go and dress up and go out and I'm look super bad or whatever. So it's like so it's like the best of both worlds. But then because I've talked to a variety of men. I've talked to professional athletes. I've talked to everyday men. I've talked to whatever. I will say there is a little intimidation there, as well, because they're like, I don't know how to deal with this, and I definitely think when they see me in action, it's just like, dang, she playing just like me.
Yeah.
Or dang, she moving just like me when I was younger, or whatever. And I think sometimes they're like, I don't know how to deal with this. But then it's like, oh, it's exciting. But then I don't know. But then it's exciting. I don't know. So I feel like it's like, I don't know. I don't really know. And I think more so, even with me being an athlete, I think a lot of men are intimidated by the things that I've accomplished more so than physically. Because I never had a man say, oh my gosh, you're too masculine or you're too athletic. I just can't. I never had that. But I have had, oh man, I just don't know if I'm enough for you. Like you've done so much. Like I went on a date one time with a successful person, and he was like, oh, I can see why men are intimidated. You do too much. You like, there's nothing I can give you. And I'm like, your heart?
No,
Your heart?
not
Like,
your
no, I
heart.
don't need I need your money. I need your heart. And he was just like, I don't even want to. I don't want to play you like that because you got too much going on. And I'm like, all right. So like, it's a very interesting.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a point where it's very intimidating as a man. And I ask you some um, real life questions, right? The typical person, could you date a man that you make more money than? I'll say it again since there was a hesitation. Could you date a man who you make more money than?
Um.
Keep it funky.
No, I'm thinking.
Don't take this. You would have thought I said
Okay,
something.
let me say this. No, but I'll tell you why. Because I feel like,
So hold on. So you could not date a person who you make more money than.
okay,
Correct.
knowing yes. I know it sounds confusing.
All right. Well, explain.
If I can see you have a clear vision and you are active in that vision, you are making like actively, not just saying, hey man, I really want to be a doctor. You just sitting at home every day. But if you're like going to school, you're doing this, you're doing that, I can see your vision and I can see it coming into fruition. I could deal with that. And if I'm making more money than you at that time, that's fine. And if I'm making more money than you, period, that's fine. Because I feel like we're both going to be successful in whatever we're in. But I can't date somebody that just have no ambition, ain't going nowhere in life.
That's not what I'm saying, Santia. I'm saying this man is in his career of age, how you're of age, and he just don't bring in the same amount of coin that you do. It can be intimidating for a man who's trying to hit your jack, hit your line, get your attention, and you are who you are. You can't nuke yourself. You can't dim your lights for that because you are who you are. But at the same time, that doesn't make you a bad person or a bad woman to say, like, I know I can't just do that because I know my worth and I know what it is. But I have a hard time believing when women say, I just want your heart.
I ain't say that because we gotta eat, and if I want babies one day, so my kids gotta be taken care of. So you do have to be making enough money to take care of me and my children because when I'm pregnant, I'm not trying to do nothing but be pregnant and have your children. So
Our children, not your children, no, not your child, right?
So I need him to be able to take care of us. So let me say this: I come from an old school background. Like my mother didn't have to do anything. Like she did stuff, but she didn't have to.
So
My brothers.
you lived in a house where your mom was a stay-at-home mom.
She was an entrepreneur, but she didn't have to worry about bills. Like my dad made sure she was good so that she could do what she wanted to do. And then they came together and they were a power couple. And that's how it is kind of with my brothers as well. They take care of everything, but their wives get to do and enjoy whatever it is they want to do, but it's a choice. So that's kind of what I want as well because that's what I've seen. And I feel like I want a nuclear family structure. I want a man that's going to be able to lead, that's going to be able to provide, that talk to God and deliver the message to me and my children. So I need a man that can take care of everything. I'm gonna take care of him.
So going back to the question, what's harder to find, a good woman or a good man?
Okay, so like I said, I definitely feel like for a woman, but I can also say for men, unfortunately, a lot of y'all's worth is in what you make. So I do feel like it's hard for y'all in that aspect. But for a woman, I feel like there are a lot of women that will love you no matter what you have, no matter how you look, no matter what, because that's just how women are. We are just those type of beings.
So how can you say that when you just said you can't talk to a person that makes less than you?
I totally agree with that. But that's again, but if you're talking about the women that want the athlete or they want the rapper, then that's a whole different conversation. But if you're a woman that just wants a man that is doing well financially, whether he's a manager, he's a doctor, he's in tech, whatever it may be, I feel like that's as long as you are also bringing something to the table. Now, I do feel like there are a lot of women, ladies, I'm gonna just say this: there are a lot of women that want these type of men, but bring nothing but vagina and your face,
That ain't
right?
enough.
That's definitely not enough. If you want someone that is actually going to be able to keep your attention, and somebody that's actually going to bring something to the table, because we can't ask all of these things for men, but then it's like we just sitting there looking dumb half the time and we don't have no conversation. So I will say that. But men, some of y'all are okay with that. Some of y'all are okay and y'all allow women to do nothing, and then y'all are okay with that. So then you can't sometimes. So also in the same sentence, like you can't ask for this from a woman when some of y'all are okay with a woman that just sits at home and do
And
nothing.
you can say the same about.
So y'all gotta raise y'all standards.
So I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it funky. Santia Deck, sweetheart, shouting, a player partner, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. As I end things at Funky Friday, we're gonna look at your camera. Now we're gonna look at mine. Now we're gonna look at this one. All right. Got one finger, one pinky.
Sorry.
Let's bring this back. All right. She played football, y'all, so she may be a little concussed a little bit. You dig what I'm saying? So we're gonna start one more time. We got one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love.